There has been a national debate that has been sparked by U.S. President Donald Trump saying that he's going to take all the illegal immigrants crossing the border and put them into sanctuary cities. Some people say that this is an absurd plan. Even the press secretary of Donald Trump is contradicting what he is saying, but according to him, he is doubling down and says he will go ahead with this plan, which I kind of want to discuss with I want to kind of discuss the seriousness of it because, Jason, there's even talks about the border being at a breaking point, the communities around the border also running out of resources. But before we get into any kind of possibility or talks about that, or even play the Sarah Huckabee clip, let's talk about some of the hypocrisy that's been happening here, not just with Cher, which we're also going to get into, but specifically U.S. presidential candidate Cory Booker, who, of course, is a strong believer in immigration, strong supporter of Dreamers. He even had a Dreamer with him during Trump's State of the Union. And, of course, he supports many bills, the one including that he sponsored that would prevent the Department of Homeland Security giving personal information about DACA recipients to law enforcement. And, of course, he's a big supporter of immigrants and illegal immigration. Honestly, let's just call it for what it is. But his comments here are raising a lot of eyebrows and, to me, pointing out a lot of contradictions. Do you want to introduce it, Jason?
Yeah, so first we're going to play this clip that's now, going viral and, in my opinion, being taken out of context. No fan of Cory Booker, by the way. Not here to support Booker. I think what he says is total ass clownery, but that's a separate issue. The way it's being framed is wrong. But we also have a clip from a couple days ago that's a little more expanded where he gets into some of the same rhetoric, but again, I hate it when it becomes a right-left issue, and this is what Cory Booker makes it.
Do you think this is an empty threat by the president, though, to talk about busing people from the border into these sanctuary cities? He likes to create friction sometimes to jumpstart, he says, a Congress that's not acting.
You say friction, I say he's trying to pit Americans against each other and make us less safe, because what you're seeing now...
So you take the threat seriously?
I take this. He is injecting fear into our country. And so if he was looking to solve a problem, he wouldn't be doing things to divide this country against itself. Beware of anybody that's trying to tell you to be afraid in the strongest country in the world, as opposed to showing our strength and our courage by pulling people together to find common sense solutions to solve this problem.
So,
and of course, Jason, people are taking these comments and are being like, wait, Trump is kind of tongue-in-cheek saying he's going to give sanctuary cities what they want, what they're there for. They've been created by local jurisdictions, local mayors, local governors saying, hey, we're going to have a sanctuary for illegal immigrants. Donald Trump is saying, hey, I'll give you illegal immigrants. So, of course, people are piecing the two and saying, wait, Cory Booker is saying that this is going to make us less safe. People are saying that this is going to stoke fear. And, of course, they're alluding. But what Cory Booker did is pretty much change the topic. And he tried to elude it. And that's why people are putting the two together. His other comments bring more context to it, which I believe we should also play.
Absolutely. I do want to point out that, again, he was talking about instilling fear. And notice how it's always a strong nation. We have to use our force when we're injecting fear. I mean, the guy is such an establishment politician. It doesn't seem like he has an original thought or voice at all.
And can't answer a question. And I want to say something after the first sentence he says.
Get to that and talk a little bit more biography, but news of the day. Donald Trump, President of the United States, has tweeted a confirmation of a Washington Post story that said that the administration, the Trump administration, had considered as a way of stopping unlawful migration, shipping migrants to sanctuary cities in blue states as some sort of punishment for those cities. As a United States Senator, what is your comment about that?
Let me just stop it there. Notice how she frames that question as a punishment. I don't think the term punishment has ever been used. Obviously, he's doing it in a manner where he's like, hey, I'm going to give you what you want. You got an unlimited supply. Never heard the term punishment, did you?
Exactly. They're skewing the dialogue here to make it as favorable, as easy. Again, this was all pre-planned. You see Cory Booker's answer. He plays right into that aspect perfectly and goes into and convolutes this area because, again, Trump is being tongue-in-cheek here. He's being sarcastic in a way. He's kind of trolling in a way, saying, hey, I'll give you guys everything you guys want. And again, they're just shooting themselves in the foot, destroying their own ideology, not answering a simple question, convoluting it on so many extents. Let's keep playing it from here.
Well, first of all, it reflects this
contorted view that Donald Trump has about humanity.
Oh, he's contorting
and somehow that people seeking a better life coming to this country are somehow going to be a punishment to communities that are
That's not what he
saying we're going
said.
to create a safer, stronger communities by making sure that immigrants here get basic services. But more than that, this is what we're going to see, what we've seen and what we're going to see over the next years. Him trying to dominate headlines and conversations, distracting us from the kind of things that he's doing, trying to rip healthcare away from Americans, having policies like banning Muslims or throwing kids in cages.
So let's stop it there. You notice
Dude, this is all staged. That question was total softball, but totally pre-prepared in my opinion.
Well, again, when he talks about the throwing them in cages, that was a pre-existing policy that Trump in June actually signed an executive order to end. Why? Because people like him were saying it was a Trump policy when in fact it wasn't.
It was an Obama policy, which people don't understand. And he literally ended it with an executive order, but yet still on mainline television, they're talking about that. Why doesn't Cory Booker say, hey, yeah, sure, let's bring on the immigrants into New Jersey. Let's bring them into all the sanctuary cities. Well, of course, there's like a double conundrum. We have all these presidential candidates, including Beto O'Rourke, who are saying, just get rid of the border. We don't need a wall. I mean, and then for frick's sakes, now they're being confronted with the reality, with Trump putting this reality to them, and all of them are like, he's he's fear mongering. He's punishing us. Come on, what? No. Like, you guys are running on a specific issue, right? Do you stand behind the issue or you don't? And Donald Trump is kind of showing how they're not. Cher kind of put things into perspective, and she tweeted out, quote, I understand helping struggling immigrants, but my city, Los Angeles, isn't taking care of its own. What about the 50,000 plus citizens who live on the streets, people who live below poverty line and hungry? If my state can't take care of its own, many are vets, how can it take care of more? Cher wrote Sunday morning, bringing up an important issue here on this larger topic, which of course people understand. Typhoid came back to the homeless community in Los Angeles because of just the despair that people are living in. And the city declares itself a sanctuary city, says, hey, anyone here that wants help, we'll come in there and help you. It's already one of the most tax places in the United States that's absolutely going bankrupt, just like the United States, just like New York City, with their skewed kind of stupid asinine political beliefs that are being directly contradicted by Donald Trump's call here, which I believe there could be some merit in actually doing. Do you have anything else to say about Cher, Jason?
Yeah, I do want to point out that if you look at this, in this slew of texts, as soon as Trump agreed, she tried to distance herself from that and said, either you can't read or English isn't your primary language. I said nothing about turning in immigrants living in my city, which she didn't, over to ICE. But this is the part that she sounds a lot like Cory Booker. We don't kidnap babies and put them in cages. It's a talking point. And I've got to give credit to George Stephanopoulos, as we discussed earlier, when Cory Booker was framing it, when A.M. Joy was framing it, Joy Reid, if you will. What were they saying? They were saying punishment. Well, Stephanopoulos tries to play it coy. By the way, guys, Stephanopoulos, not a dumb man at all. He tries to play it coy, and he's like, well, I just don't understand why Trump would do this. It seems to go against all of his policies. And then, again, Huckabee, Sanders here, she says that it's really, not even our second or third or maybe even fourth choice, but it's on the table. So she's distancing herself that this is going to become the policy. But listen how Stephanopoulos frames it, and listen to her answer.
I don't understand why the president is attracted to it at all. It actually could encourage more immigrants. It would be easier for the U.S. in sanctuary cities, so it seems to run counter to his objectives.
Again, this isn't the president's plan. His top priority is to stop the flow of illegal immigration coming into our country to begin with. Democrats and courts, frankly, keep tying the president's hands and stopping him from being able to do that. We have a massive number of people that are already here. We need to take away some of that burden on all of the communities that are along the border, like San Diego and El Paso, and look at other options. Again, not our first choice. Ideally, Congress would fix the problem. They continue to kick the can down the road and not deal with the problem in front of them. They'd rather spend.
So again, looking at the problem, border at breaking point, New York Times. This is actually happening. She's not making it up. It is a real issue. And when these people run on the platform of endorsing sanctuary cities, when a sanctuary city is made into quote-unquote law, and the politician there is on tape dancing, he's so happy it happens, well, I see why Trump is saying this. Because a lot of people don't believe it that are saying it, Luke. A lot of people are just saying it to try to make Trump look bad. We love our sanctuary cities. But they realize, wait a minute, if I'm the governor of a state with a bunch of sanctuary cities, the economics is going to get really bad there. And then maybe I don't get reelected and I lose my political power. And then all my free stuff that I get and all my kickbacks and my cushy job after politics as a lobbyist is gone. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want this to really happen. No, Donald, don't do it. No.
Yep, absolute facing of reality, which they never did. They're living in a pure delusional world where they just say nice things and think that things will happen again, not looking at the numbers, not looking at the incentives, not looking at the actual things that are happening here. And I think this is more of a reality than we think here. I mean, just like I pointed out to this New York Times article, and specifically to the major talking point of the left, it is totally not true. The Trump breaking families apart. He's the one who stopped it. Barack Obama's the one who started it. But the reality of it is there is what the New York Times describes as a breaking point at the border, with more and more people coming illegally across the border, with towns along the border being, of course, strung along, being, of course, desperate for resources and having a hard time handling the larger increase of people coming across the border. So that's why I think this is more of a possibility than you may think, as, of course, the people's asylum applications are being processed, that they would be put into cities that openly declare sanctuary for illegal immigrants. You know, let's call it out for what it is. And I think this is a brilliant kind of PR move in the larger scale by Donald Trump. And this is why people like Cory Booker can't give you a direct answer, can't say, yeah, sure, let's do it. That's why they change the topic and talk about things that are just absolutely false and absolutely not true on this larger, bigger topic. And again, everyone's full of crap here. If Trump does do this, this, of course, will incentivize more immigrants to come across the border. Everyone's full of crap here. We need to understand here. But as far as PR-wise, Trump did a very brilliant move here that's showing a lot of the larger contradictions of a lot of these presidential candidates on the Democratic side that are running against him. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And thank you for supporting independent media. With your support, you guys buying t-shirts, donating to us, we're able to do this. So once again, I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.